When you are down, there is no lack of people ready to kick you, especially if the kicker can make some big bucks. So, my friends, it is time for a lesson to keep you from being the kick-e when it comes to love and hopefully marriage to a Filipina. Class is in session. The Philippines is the only country in the world, other than the Vatican, that has no divorce. It has caused a world of problems, especially for women in this country. The lack of divorce has not prevented the fracturing of marriages and families, but instead has led to generations of single-parent households, many living in poverty. Many of those struggling single mothers leave their children with other family members for up to 3 years at a time. They travel abroad as overseas Filipino workers, since there are simply not enough jobs to go around here. The children get fed from the money these women send back home, but the mothers have already sacrificed some pretty special years they could have otherwise shared with their children. And they probably live a pretty loveless life. If you browse the profiles of the many dating sites, it doesn't take long to find several of these lonely overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs. They want so badly to be freed from the bonds of their previous marriage and a husband who has cheated on them, left them, and even started his own family outside of wedlock. These women are easy prey to scammers. And if you have begun an online relationship with this woman and hope to be her knight riding in on a white horse, you can become a victim too. I will explain how in just a bit. The primary alternative to divorce is annulment, a lengthy, expensive process that is granted on a few specific grounds, such as lack of parental consent, fraud, force, intimidation, impotence, insanity, and sexually transmitted diseases. But the most likely grounds at this point has become psychological incapacity. In a May 2021 Philippines Supreme Court case, the definition of psychological incapacity was ruled as a personal condition that prevents a spouse from complying with fundamental marital obligations toward a specific partner, and that may have existed at the time of marriage, but became evident through behavior subsequent to the marriage ceremony. The ruling also made psychological incapacity a legal concept rather than a medical one. That eliminated, in some cases, the need for testimony of a psychologist or psychiatrist, and shortening, albeit slightly, the length of the case. Still, annulments can easily take 1.5 to 3 years, sometimes longer, and costs can be in the range of 300,000 to 600,000 pesos. That's roughly 6,000 to 12,000 US dollars. Enter the online scammer, ready and eager to kick you while you're down. A news report this week by the GMA network cited the prevalence of these online scammers and how they prey in particular on OFWs by claiming a quick voiding of a marriage without the need to appear in court. That's pretty enticing to a worker living abroad, especially if the fake lawyer cites a cost of only around $2,000. In the TV report, lawyer Bernice Joanna Piñol said, if they promised that it would be finished in 1 to 2 months, that's a red flag. Second, if it's too cheap. If it's less than 100,000 pesos, it is most likely a scam. The reason why it is expensive is because lawyers go through so much preparation, so much has to be done to ensure your annulment petition will be successful. Piñol cited annulment process costs at around $3,600 in provinces and from $5,000 to $12,000 in Metro Manila. And she said an annulment without a court appearance is an outright falsehood, saying, that's a red flag right there. You are not talking to a legit lawyer. So what is a foreigner supposed to do when the woman of your dream needs an annulment in order to be with you? First, walk down to the nearest Sorry store to buy a bag of ice. Then pour those ice cubes down your pants. You need to cool down, mister, because you have a long process ahead. Next, make sure you and your loved one find a legitimate lawyer. The Philippine Supreme Court maintains a database of all practicing lawyers in the country, and you can check those lawyers' online presence as well, particularly on social media. To sum it all up, it's not cheap, it's not easy, but nothing worth having ever is. Class is dismissed.